Hi everyone, this is a quick video on the Kriega US Drypack fitting kit for the Aprilia Tuono V4 factory as well as the RSV4. This kit in particular is for the 2015 to 2020, but it definitely works on the 2021 and newer Tuono and RSV4s with just a little bit of tweaks. Not really that much different from the previous generation. So the kit comes with 4 washers in a bag, 2 of the straps that actually strap into with the washers and the bolts into the rear pillion seat, and then this one is the T strap. This one actually straps to, I would say, the rear subframe portion of the rear seat attached to the bike. So with that, let's jump right in. So first thing is definitely, take your key and release the rear pinion seat, and then I would recommend working on the seat portion in a table just upside down. It's much easier than messing with it on the bike. Alright, for this next step, we're going to loosen these bolts right here. And for this one, you're going to need a 10 millimeter, right? Either a wrench or a socket. You're going to loosen these 2 bolts so that we can effectively put on the dry fit kit on these mounting locations. So it's this one, and also this one has to completely come out. Alright, so these bolts come out, and there's actually already a spacer that are in these bolts as well, so make sure not to lose those. So just set them aside. I'm actually going to use them to sandwich the straps now, and these come with 4 of itself, and what has to happen is you put the washer in between, right, so that it's like this, and then the washer is still needed, so another washer, say at the top, right? So this way you have something in between, you have something on the top, you use the factory bolts, it fits right through, and then on this side you're going to utilize the factory washer, right? So you're going to go in and then tighten it, right? So that's one, and then the same thing for the other side. So again, you put it through the middle, the washer, through the top, use the factory bolt, and then don't forget the factory spacer or the washer, right? So put it back here and put it through the hole of the strap, and then this one as well in there, right? So I'm gonna tighten these one up, but you could see, these are going to peek through, right, through the side here, and we're gonna tighten these up, and then also give, still allow for some adjustment later. All right, so those are now tight, and then you can see the straps here, right? So we'll play around with the mounting later, but just so you can see, I didn't remove this, it's still there, right, the factory hoop, but now I'm having this one on top, so it's really on there. You can do some Loctite too if you really want to. This is actually how this, the 2 mounting points of the pillion, right? This is the one that's locked and unlocked by the key mechanism, and then this is kind of where it slides into that subframe in the back. So we're gonna switch now to the bike. All right, so for this next part in the bike, we actually have to remove this cover, right? So in the newer 2021 Tuonos and RSV4s, they have this new kind of cover here. So this one comes out with a 4 millimeter, right? So 4 millimeter to remove this one, and then this cover just pops out. So very simple for the first step here, and don't lose the washer, of course. Make sure that's still there, and once you take that out, this kind of just pops out here, right? And once the cover is out, this then shows the subframe, the rear subframe assembly, and this is what we want to mount to. On the previous models, right, you didn't necessarily have, you would just hoop here and kind of let it out. On the 2021 and newer, you have to take these ones out, these 3 bolts first. And these are held on by 3mm hex socket. To take this one off, and just be patient with it. This one as well as this rear one. And don't lose there's a little spacer there for the rear one too. Alright, so now that the 3 bolts are out, this just lifts right out. So again, this is the T, right? So the Velcro. Alright, so you have to undo the Velcro and just slowly loop it underneath the bracket. And what helps is actually if you kind of, kind of curve it a little bit so that it can get over the initial lip. Right. So just like that. And that's it, right? You kind of pull it a little bit to make sure it's snug. And so you can see here, right? So it's still on the subframe mounting, right? And the Velcro, right? So this is the top of the Velcro that kind of looped around and went to the top, and you kind of put the top in here, right? And then you can see how it goes underneath the bracket, right? So this T is now effectively coming out of the back, right? And this bracket, so it's completely in there, and you can see it's actually shaking the entire bike, so it is solid, right? So that's very solid, and you can see kind of how that one sits. So now that we have this one, again, just make sure that Velcro is tight all the way. Then we're going to put the cover back on and start assembling it back. So first step with assembling it back, of course, is to put the subframe kind of topper there, right? Again, don't forget the little spacer for the rear, right? This kind of helps locate this one. And then you still have, so now I'm just starting to reinstall the bracket bolts. These 3 are 3mm bolts, right? So just again, make sure not to cross thread, so just hand tight everything first, and then use your 3mm to tighten this one down. Alright, so you can see this bracket with the bolts are now installed, right? There's no interference with this, right? It's completely clear, and you can see it tucks in nicely underneath this top bracket and then right to the subframe there. So very, very clean install. And now we're going to put the cover, and again, just make sure the cover is so you're routing these in between, right? You want the cover kind of underneath it so it's not scratching the paint or getting pinched on the mounting. So this one now just pops in. Just take your time again, because you just want to make sure this one is completely flush on the mounting, right? So again, right, you could see no interference whatsoever. And then you're going to take the 4mm, right, with the washer here, right? So you're going to use this bolt here, it's holding this up. Finger tight as always, no cross threading. And then there it is. So that's nice and tight, right? That's nice and tight. Everything looks very nice, flush. You can see here, no interference with the seat. All right, so again, this one, right? is going to mount up. So you're going to have two mounting points in this on this rear pillion seat itself, and then two mounting points on the bike rear subframe. So I would say this is definitely much more secure than you know, just having some bungee cords around and, you know, scratching up your fairing and so forth. And you know, it looks much cleaner, right? So, you know, from this standpoint, I definitely you know, prefer this type of solution much better than, you know, just having stuff dangling or using a cargo net and so forth. Now, of course, after a good wax back here, make sure, of course, that that's completely clicked up in the front, right, where the key mechanism is to lock the rear seat, right? It looks very clean. You can see it's just, you know, barely hanging out, right? So, and then the rear one there, and you could see, of course, from a spacing standpoint, you know, I really like these new rear seats, especially the 2021 and yours. Like, you're not having like this kind of flap up like the older models. So you can actually have some nice mounting solutions like this, pretty integrated without scratching the paintwork, right? So because that protective, you can see that nice protective cover over there. So, you know, it looks very clean, you know, very discreet, and you can, you know, you can use, of course, the Kriega Drypack bags, right? So I just bought the US 20. I'm playing around between the US 10 and the US 20, so I'm going to shoot a video on that also. But now with these mounting points here, you know, it's just very discreet, you know, low profile, doesn't stick out, and, you know, exactly what I was looking for. So, you know, even from the rear here, you can see, you know, it's such a good system. It doesn't look like, you know, a sore thumb. It's definitely not sticking out. So for anyone thinking about this one, I highly recommend it. It's a great simple installation. So if you enjoyed the video, definitely thumbs up on the video, subscribe to the channel. Until next time, safe riding out there.